If they were plucked into a scenario, right? They're plucked into the scenario. We use everything we have of Goku. We use everything we have of Saitama. We insert SBAs. We don't use these presumptions, right? We base it off of everything we know. We don't use these like these fallacies and all of this sophistry, right? We objectively know Saitama would get one shot and he would get blitzed.
You don't objectively know anything, though. So
I just gave you the circumstance. What do you mean?
Can I talk for a second?
Yeah. Please explain to me why what I said is wrong.
So I know you said you haven't watched the video, and what you said actually isn't inherently wrong. That Goku's feats are way higher of a scale than Saitama's, right? Like insanely insane. Like obviously, like as you claimed, Goku is at a like 4-dimensional, like 4D universal level, whatever terminology you guys use. If you actually watched my video, which you said you didn't. I stated that the fight, it's kind of impossible to scale Saitama, because like you said, if you look what Saitama did currently, and you look what Goku did currently, then Goku is obviously at a way higher level. But I'm saying the debate, my video was titled the debate is pointless, and the reason I said that the debate was pointless is because we have no idea as to what Saitama can actually do. Everyone he defeats effortlessly, and he defeats are so much weaker than him that we cannot possibly use those feats to understand his true potential and what he can actually do.
Okay, and I care to differ because we do know his actual feats, and we do know what he's consistently shown to do, and I understand, right? That there will be moments in which, we won't know their actual limit, but the debate to make this claim and assert that no, the debate is pointless is completely fallacious and wrong, because there will be people who will assert, you know what, just this Saitama will completely one-shot, and there will be things that oppose to that, right? So the debate is not completely but the debate is not completely pointless, and as well as the fact, even if we do take this into consideration, right? Saitama took damage from a multi-continental attack, right? That level of attack potency is more than infinitely lower than what would have to be presented for Goku, right? So
but Goku's taken damage from far weaker attacks.
Could you please give me examples?
Most of the time, for example, when Goku fights someone, most of the time he doesn't go to his max level off the start. He spars with them. He has a good time, right? He takes damage, they take damage. It's nothing serious. Or for example, remember when he got pierced by a stupid laser beam, right?
Oh yeah, when he was off guard and he wasn't sparring. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, yes, exactly. He was off guard.
He wasn't sparring.
Okay, just an example of him taking damage off the top of my head.
Well, but I want an example of him in combat. And not
Frieza has done damage to him. Jiren's done damage to him. I'm just talking about.
Okay, I know, but could you please give me examples? That he's had fights and he's taken damage. So could you please give me an example where he's taken weak hits and taken damage? And I mean DBS, current DBS, please.
Well, no one in DBS is relatively weak when he fought against Beerus or Frieza.
Okay. So then that's just furthermore proving my point.
Oh my god.
You can't apply this train of rationalism and then expect an equal amount of epistemological standpoints or views. That will not work at all. And that's not tautological.
So you know how you were saying that some people will claim that Saitama would one punch Goku. Right? Mm-hmm. I don't claim that.
Okay, I'm not saying you claim that. I'm saying that the debate is pointless.
But I personally believe that the debate is pointless because none of his feats have been able to scale Saitama in any way. We can't understand where his power. Can I say one thing real quick? So I've said that Goku has taken damage, right? Mm-hmm. But it doesn't. You can't use, for example, Sorbet when he was off guard, when he pierced him with a laser, right? You cannot possibly say that Sorbet is similar in strength to Goku. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they're not similar in strength. Even though he took damage, he's not similar in strength to Sorbet. So by the same reasoning, I'm saying that Saitama isn't taking damage from Boros when he's not even taking the fight seriously, and just he doesn't take any real fight seriously at that point in time. He wasn't taking the fight seriously. It doesn't prove that Boros is similar in strength to him.
Okay, but
he completely shattered him into nothing but blood with normal punches.
Okay, but what we can apply is that, well, what we know, because you're trying to apply that, or at least this is what I heard from just the start of your argumentation and notion. You said that, okay, well, we can't truly power scale him, right? But wait, we literally can, because even if we increase his, even if we increase him by a whole dimensional difference and by a whole fictional transcendent, it would still not mean anything, and the logic would not apply, and that would be blatant.
Where did you get that? Where did you get that number from? How do you increase it by that arbitrary amount?
I'm elaborating. So
Okay.
could you please not interrupt the rhetoric? Okay,
Go ahead.
we know that he did take damage, and this was not off guard. He was taking damage from literally somebody he was in combat with, not, for example, Sorbet, who was from a whole other distance, right? Non-combat with him.
How did he take damage?
Off guard. Hold on. He took damage from the star roaring cannon thing, the multi-continental attack, the one that was going to destroy the Earth's surface.
To what extent was the damage given?
It just said he took damage, and either way, if you are infinite three-dimensional, you should not take damage from a multi-continental attack to no degree. Any degree, still, should not be, shown to take damage. That's just how dimensional tiering works and how dimensionality works. You can't apply this train of rationalism.
Goku's taking damage in every single fight. Goku's taking damage in every single fight that he takes.
Okay, right. But he's taken damage from the same dimensionality.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Okay, do you understand the theory of dimensions and dimensional tiering?
Not really.
Okay, so you understand.
I'm not a power scaler. You realize that.
I understand. I understand that, but you're still making a claim which is completely wrong, right? And I'm telling you. So.
Okay, can I say one thing real quick? So
I'm explaining.
My claim, before you explain dimensionality, all right, I'm actually interested to hear about. Before you explain that, my main claim is that we actually so you're saying he took damage, which in reality he had some scratches. He got some scratches. No blood, no internal damage. Didn't seem to affect his fighting style in any way. But you know the panel that said he took damage? That was a fan translation. In the actual official release, there was nothing that said he took damage. All you see is some scratches, and he looks. It doesn't affect his fight later on in any way. I'm just. Let me just finish my thought. All I'm saying is him taking a little bit of damage, as you say, or what's it called? Him in this fight against Boros cannot possibly be used to show to what extent Saitama can do. And what people do is they make up this number, what if we increase his power by 100, or we move him to the next thing from planetary to multi-dimensional or whatever bullshit, that what's it called? He's still not strong enough to defeat Goku, which is correct, but you're just making it up. He removed his limiter. He removed his limit. Let me finish my thought. He removed his limiter, so him fighting Boros can be anywhere between the lower level of his power or the upper level of his power. We actually don't know.
Okay, right. And again, if you're trying to put me and these people in the same scenario, I'm just going to not assume you're doing that. But even if you are, right? So I'm not just stacking on some random cardinal. I'm specifically stacking on something less than the inaccessible cardinal, because we know that an infinite three-dimensional being would not be affected in any way by an attack that is only multi-continental. So that's how I know.
Explain dimensions to me.
Okay, right. But before that, I just need to get onto the Saitama point of damage, right? Okay. It's still visible damage. He still had scratches. Whether or not it was stated, he still took damage.
So it wasn't substantial. It was pretty insignificant, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Whether or not it's minuscule.
He took damage, but it's insignificant.
Whether or not it's okay. Yeah. Whether or not it's minuscule or he lost a limb, it's still damage, right? Okay. So, do you know what the first dimension is? Or better start off. Do you know what 0 dimensions are?
No.
Okay, so it's just literal nothing. No axes, no nothing. The first dimension is just a point. The second dimension is just an extension of the first.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, so between each dimension, there's a fictional transcendence or a dimensional transcendence, either one. They're both tautological, right? So the second dimension would fictionally transcend the first dimension, which is a more than infinite degree higher than something, also known as an inaccessible cardinal, right? That's how we define inaccessible cardinals, right, and dimensionality. So when we talk about the third dimension, right, infinite three-dimensional would be universal or to have infinite power, right? So if you have infinite power and you get damaged by a multi-continental attack, that would contradict you being infinite, right? And I'm not.
So I don't think he has
hold on.
infinite power. I think he has
Hold on,
infinite potential. But okay, go ahead.
Okay. I'm not asserting that you're thinking that. I was getting on to that furthermore, right?
Okay.
So if we do add on that he has infinite power, right? An infinite three-dimensional being should not take that much damage from a multi-continental attack, so we would know that he would be below infinite three-dimensional. It wouldn't have to be quantified. We already know that Goku would transcend him by a more than infinite degree. So we would know
I'm
how to
sure people have defended this. I'm sure how people probably defended this. So then why did Goku take damage with his guard down if he's at that level?
Okay, because at that point, his power is not at that level. So when he puts his guard down, he's not asserting this level of energy, and he's not asserting this level of power. So when his power is not at that level, and he's not expecting an attack, it's going to hurt more. And it's going to
that makes sense because Saiyan's power levels fluctuate, right? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So we would objectively know, even if we do stack on infinite, it would not make sense for him to be infinite, so we would know, you don't even have to quantify it, we would still know he's below infinite, which Goku is more than infinitely beyond. That's how we know Goku would one-shot no matter what.
But see, the same thing could apply to to Saitama in that fight, though. Like, Saitama is so...
Could you reiterate that?
Like, the same concept can apply to Saitama, as like he's so used to one-shotting everyone that he never does serious punches to everyone until Boros. But like for everyone prior to that, he always just does normal punches. When he's fighting against like the giant in episode 1, he just lets the guy fuck him. Like he literally just lets the guy like completely ravage him, type of thing. Same thing when he fought Carnage Kabuto, he just lets the guy go hard on him and everything ends up being insignificant and not really doing any damage to him. So in that sense, he never really actually has to try or pay attention in a fight. And then Boros comes along, I guess continental being, and he's like, oh, like after that moment, he realizes he has to actually be serious, quotation marks, whatever. Prior to that, like prior to him taking damage, his guard could have been down because everyone he fights against before that, his guard's always down. He's thinking of some sale at a market when he's fighting apparently the strongest like experimental being because everyone's so insignificant to him, right? So you can't like, I feel like he like, even when he was fighting Boros in the beginning, it was heavily applied that he didn't even care. Like he's like, this isn't that serious. While Boros was taking it seriously, he's like, just another normal day for him. He didn't actually have to exert himself in the beginning.
Okay, right. And the contradiction to that point is that, okay, yeah, even if we do presuppose and we say, okay, Saitama and the concept of being off guard would apply, right? Mm-hmm. That would not only be contradicted, it would also make zero sense because we understand that the Star Roaring Cannon isn't an instantaneous or inaccessible speed. It doesn't launch at those kind of speeds. So he would understand that power or that limiter would be broken and that power would go further up. And yes, they both broke their limits. I'm pretty sure that was stated Boros. I'm pretty sure that was stated in the manga. Yeah, so... But
the difference is, even if you break your limiter, it doesn't mean you have infinite power like you mentioned. It just means that you have the potential. You have an endless potential. And my point is kind of like, where does Saitama line up on that spectrum of infinity? You know?
Okay, we would be able to quantify by saying we know that he's below infinity. And the way
obviously, but so is
Hold on. No, because there are people beyond the concept of dimensions entirely, so that limiter would not matter. There's also people beyond all dualities and like the Platonic concept and the theory of form, so that wouldn't matter. But back to the actual point. Sorry,
what's someone else in here? One second. Mr. D, what's up? I don't know, like it's just weird. I hear someone's mic bustling in the background. What's happening? What do you think about what we're talking about right now? Just out of curiosity. No? Okay. Continue. I thought like someone was trying to say something.
Well, basically, I like you're trying to assert that the debate was pointless and that we won't be able to quantify Saitama or his power.
Well, like Naruto versus Goku, I feel like you could quantify to a certain
Yes.
degree. While it's just with Saitama, it's so much unknown in my opinion.
Okay.
But go ahead, continue.
Right. So, in the reason why you brought this up and brought this concept up is to try to contradict my point, and by trying to assert, okay, well, here's a point. We could also be assuming that he wasn't off guard, or that he was off guard, and here are things to support that, right? So to suggest that it still is unquantifiable and that he was off guard, so it would not be his actual power,
And
right?
even if he was on guard, it's still insignificant damage. It's not enough to say that he did anything to him.
But the point is, I already asserted, whether or not he takes minuscule damage or whether or not he loses a limb, he's still taking damage to a multi-continental attack, which an infinite three-dimensional being would not even feel or sense anything. Nothing would happen to an infinite three-dimensional being. That's how we know.
Assuming that the being's on guard, yes.
Okay, right. And then how I know Saitama was not off guard in this scenario is that we know that this move is not moving at an accessible speed, unless you could present evidence to that. We know that this attack is not instantaneous. And we also know that they both broke their limiter. We also know that they both can sense this pressure, right? So when he is charging up the Star
You
Roaring...
can't assume that Saitama can sense like people can in the Dragon Ball universe.
Okay, that's not what I'm asserting. That's not.
I'm saying Saitama is completely oblivious to what's going on outside of his apartment. While Genos...
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Okay, I understand your point, and I understand your trying. He was oblivious, but the point is that we know that he can still feel the pressure. He can still understand that.
How do you know that he can feel the pressure?
Okay, because we can as well. When you charge up something, for example, when the pressure would rise, and because of that, you could feel it. That is just basic physics. So whenever something is bumped up, you could feel it. So we know that he knows that the Star Roaring cannon is charging, right? Because it isn't instantaneous and it isn't inaccessible speed. So he would know that it is charging. It isn't like the laser beam where it just shot him and that was it, and he wasn't on guard.
You're saying the laser beam was completely instant?
That's not what I'm saying.
I wouldn't imply. I wouldn't think that laser was moving faster than most things. You know.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that in this scenario, right, this attack, he was charging it up, and with the laser, it was just shot out, and that was it. There was no charging, so Goku would not sense it. It just shot out. So he would be completely oblivious to that, but Saitama would not be oblivious to this. You'd have to prove that, because it's it's you presupposing it, which is directly Hitchin's razor.
It's also a similar thing with how he fights everyone else. You know, he has been exposed to everyone being so much weaker than him that he just lets everyone attack him without even kind of paying attention. And I think that moment where he took damage, even though it was insignificant, is what made him realize, oh, maybe I actually have to pay attention in this fight and not just let the person do something to me. But I feel like that would imply that his guard's down.
Okay, right. And again, I just already countered by telling you're presupposing that, and I'm also asserting the negative. I'm also asserting the negative claim, so you'd also have to prove the positive claim. That's just grade A philosophy, grade A critical thinking.
What do you mean by positive claim?
Positive claim is whenever you assert something exists or something is a fact, or not necessarily a fact, but okay, well I say a banana is better than cookies or some shit, right? That would be a positive claim. And then when you make a negative claim, it can't be proven, and it's also implying non-existence. So if I say that pigs can't fly, that's a negative claim. So I'm asserting the negative claim in which we can't prove the negative claim, so we always assume the negative if we can't prove the positive. So what you're doing is you're presupposing the positive, that he is on guard, off guard, and I'm asserting that he wasn't. So you'd also have to prove that he would be on guard, or off guard, but you're using these these pointers to it, right? And I'm telling you that wouldn't mean anything, because he would already understand that this attack isn't instantaneous, and this attack was literally charging in front of him. So he would already understand that. And I'm also pretty sure that when Boris but wasn't Boris throwing punches, and wasn't he also taking damage from that? And he's also taken damage before this, from the cats and all that.
Wait, what damage did he take before this?
Didn't he take damage from a cat scratching him?
A cat scratch? I don't recall that, but I
remember this. Yeah, I remember a cat scratching him, and he took damage. That's what I remember.
I mean, I also remember Saitama not being able to kill a mosquito. I don't know if that really proves anything. Like, I understand, like, in the fight with Boros, like, if you were to take damage, it proves something. But, like, outside of that, in, like, a gag sense, I don't remember the scene that you're talking about, to be fair, with the cat. But if it's kind of just, like, a gag where the cat's able to get damage to him, but then, like, a huge monster isn't, like, I feel like that's more of, like, a comedy thing than an actual, like, something that could actually be scaled. But I don't like using a narrative argument or a comedy argument. But I also...
Okay, the scan was posted. Thank you, Mr. D. That.
What scan was posted?
Look in debates theory chat. That was the thing I was referring to. Also, either way, even if we disclude the cat, I already just countered.
He's drawn in his manga format, so I think that doesn't really apply. But
it's fine. I don't need that. Either way, I already told you the point of Boros and why you'd have to prove the positive and why the things that you just asserted would not matter.
Interesting.
So do you concede the notion? Do you admit that we know that Goku would one-shot?
No, not at all. But I feel like I have to do some research in regards to Goku taking damage. I just can't really... I know he takes damage in every fight. I'd have to see, like, in Frieza base form, I'm pretty sure I remember if he took damage, but I don't want to say anything without actually, like, having...
what I would need is I'd need an on-guard, powerful Goku, right? And current DBS taking damage from somebody who is weak. Not from somebody who is, like, Jiren. So... For now, I don't think, no offense, I don't think you presented anything that, like, counters anything I said, so. I just don't think there's anything you could bring up that would affect my claim in any way.
That would affect your claim. Interesting.
Nah, that's pretty much it, okay.
I recommend watching my video, though. And then also talking to me about it, but, like...
I already had a good enough understanding of it. Somebody told me pretty much in a brick of text. Most literally, I got linked here and by a bunch of people.
I know. Well, but when you first came in, I'm not saying anything. Like, you agree with the whole in its universe thing, right? Within their own respective universes.
I think that without context, I think I disagree. But whenever you clarified, I agree with that statement.
Okay.
Just in the brick of text that I was given, it was not clarified.
Okay.
What you meant by that, because if you just take that with a grain of salt, I disagree with that statement completely, 100%.
I understand, I feel like my first statement is kind of undeniable, but my second statement, I get a little bit more up to debate. I'm just trying to think right here. I'm thinking about Dragon Ball Z, to be honest.
You should be thinking about
Super, yeah.
I just don't think there's anything you could present.
So your claim in regards to, like, my whole spiel about not knowing Saitama, the extent of Saitama's power, is Boros doing some amount of insignificant damage.
Yeah, he could have gotten, like, a bruise, and it would still prove my... Because, you understand, I explained to you, you understand my point about, like, how an infinite three-dimensional being would not take any physical damage from a, multi-continental attack, or anything that isn't infinite?
Again, you still can't prove that his guard is up, but I understand your reasoning about why I'd have to, like, disprove it, which I feel like it's kind of, like, almost impossible to do, other than saying, like, in every single fight, whenever he fights someone, you could tell he's not paying attention in the beginning. But
this is completely different from those scenarios. And also, I already explained it, because he already knew that he was charging the attack.
So you're saying he already knew that he was charging the attack, and it would be an attack that Saitama would understand is powerful enough that he'd have to put his guard up.
Okay, not only did Boros literally state that he was going to destroy the Earth's surface before firing it, he was literally charging it in front of Saitama.
No, the one that was going to destroy the Earth's surface, Saitama didn't get, like, hit by or took damage by. He used a serious punch and then, like, completely wiped it away, and killed Boros without even touching him.
So
And
wait. So hold on. He was the when Boris was throwing the punches. That was the one that was having Saitama take damage. That one.
so the one that took damage, I think he did a beam followed by a punch. I don't know what level the attack was at, but the one when he says I'm going to destroy the planet, Saitama wasn't hit by.
Okay.
He used one serious punch from a distance, and the power from the punch, not even making contact with him, was enough to destroy Boros.
Okay, so
and completely wipe away the planetary level attack, I guess people would say, or star level, because it was whatever the guidebook said, but whatever.
Well, now that I think about it, furthermore, to reflect on the point of like physicists and like how physics works in each verse, like for example, Mortal Kombat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not the gameplay, of course, but if you take into consideration lore, right? There's like points in which one character will get their power amplified, and they will be able to just overpower another. So when I think of Dragon Ball, right, we think of like off guard and shit like that, because that is what is applied, and what is applied is that okay, when your guard is off and your guard is not on, you will take exponentially more damage, right? And I think that has to be specified in the physics of verses, because then there are other verses that just completely defy that as a whole, such as Naruto. So I think that I've never seen this rationalism or physics applied to One Punch Man, as well as the fact that either way the punch isn't instantaneous or inaccessible. So neither is a beam.
You cut out there on the last second. What did you say?
Either way, even if we take away the like whole physicist argument I just gave, a punch or a beam, whatever you just said, right, for him taking damage is still not inaccessible. So there's literally nothing that can support Saitama.
I don't know if I think he takes damage. I'm watching this fight right now. I don't know if anything.
It's stated he takes damage, and even if it wasn't stated, it's still shown he took damage.
Can I link you the fight real quick? I'm gonna screenshot it. I don't know if this like I originally thought that he took damage until it was pointed out that it was like it was an unofficial translation, like some fan actually put the text over it, and in the official see this clip right here that said he took damage. He took damage. Those words aren't in the official release.
Okay.
So you know how when fans translate manga and it's posted faster because of it before the official release comes out. I guess someone for dramatic effect or to show off how big this scene is, he wrote he took damage when the text wasn't actually there.
It's fine still because he still took damage either way. Whether or not it's minuscule.
I don't know if
it's not just a suit. What's your name? Ancient. It's blatantly shown he has scratches all over his head and his face.
I mean, those lines. I don't know if those actually determine damage. I know this is kind of bullshit, but can that be can that be dirt? Can that just be damage on his skin level?
Why would that be dirt?
What do you mean? Just smoke all around him. Just fucking dust everywhere.
Okay.
Look in the background.
Dirt does not appear that way. Hold on.
Hold on.
Let me show you.
I don't think skin wounds can be used to justify damage.
Okay.
To a certain extent.
Well, okay. It's still damage, whether or not it's minuscule. Now, I need you to understand, minuscule or not, it's still damage, which would still prove my point. Now, I'm going to show you what a scratch is, and then I'm going to show you what dirt is, right? And I want you to.
No, you're right. It's not dirt, but dust, a little bit of when you're in a fight, you come out a little bit rough, even though it's not even damage. I don't know if this is damage, man.
This is blatantly damage. I don't get why it would be dirt.
I wouldn't say it's dirt either.
So then it should be damage. Why else would it not be a scratch?
Let's see what Mr. D's saying. Man, I'm procrastinating so hard right now. I don't want to go and study.
So who's your best debater here? Or does your server not debate?
We don't really debate.
There shouldn't be a debating chat then.
Oh, I mean, I didn't really even make the server. I just kind of let people handle it.
Surface of the screen there. So
Attack would disintegrate things and cause
okay,
dirt. So
that is not what dirt looks like. It's completely illogical.
So I feel like the. 1 second.
And again, this was the guy who thought that nobody in Dragon Ball was faster. So until this po.
Wait, okay. Wait, sorry, what did you say? I never thought that no one in Dragon Ball was faster than Light.
Until this po, that's what this ancient guy thought until I had to debate him. Okay, hold on. Let me just show a scan of dirt, and then you please tell me, ancient, show me that this, right? This right here, this is what is on Saitama? This is what is on Saitama. You think that's what it's on Saitama? Yeah, that really looks like dirt, man. Totally not a scratch. Like, have you ever been scratched, Ancient? Don't be scared to unmute. Like, it's not like I'm taking over this VC. Let me show you what a scratch looks like. Hold on. Okay, these, I'm gonna post them.
I'm trying to write down your argument here real quick. So you're saying, fuck. 1 second.
Did I add something to the argument?
Go ahead.
So you're saying how Saitama was expressionless when he was fighting Boros?
In the beginning, yes.
So saying that he you see in this right here, right? What I just said, Saitama he's obviously on guard, and not only on guard, he's pissed, and he gets hurt here by someone much weaker than Boros. And
what is this? Is it wait, never mind, 1 second. Isn't this an OVA episode?
OVA.
Well, Ancient, I don't care what you personally believe in. We're comparing character versus character. Whether or not it's unfair is irrelevant.
Yeah, okay, saying Batman versus Goku is not fair because Batman has many more decades of comics.
I mean, that is unfair. Batman would literally one-shot him.
Batman rapes super badly.
And ironically, assuming their verses were of similar, I cannot compare Saitama to Ninjutsu using that logic. Okay, whether or not it's unfair is irrelevant. I'm not gonna argue with you. You went on ad nauseum. So, do you have a counter to anything I said, Rigo, or do you concede?
I'm just watching a clip real quick. 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, I literally had to repeat myself because you didn't understand the argument, and then you tried to assert Devilman was a better debater than me when I've beaten Devilman on every topic I know. I literally debated and beaten Devilman in 5 minutes on whether or not Hitler was a bad person.
That red head is him taking damage?
Yeah. Bruce.
You can see I'm saying that it could what else would that be then? What do you see that as into it being red?
I mean, it's clearly red.
Yeah, so what do you say? Just that hammer makes your head red?
No, of course not. It's just kind of an OVA episode, and they're fucking it's a gag, but whatever. I don't like using that argument, but I gotta look at actual fights. And, I know, real episodes, you know.
What's it called? But we have nothing else to prove. Basically, you're saying that he's off guard and would hurt less, but he's on guard, and we don't have what's it called any other info to go off of, so we have to.
I feel so. The reason why I think it's pointless is because we don't have a lot to go off of, right? I wish we had more, and he fought someone that actually managed to push him to his closer to his limit.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Especially.
Okay. Mind me. I just wanted to say this, Ancient. Please don't assert that argument. I explained to you in a debate the difference between potency and destructive capacity. People control their attacks and control the potency, which still packs a punch, right? but they dampen down the destructive capacity, right? And the destructive capacity would be the after effect, like destroying a mountain. The potency would be how much the punch is packing. And what you're not understanding is you're saying, well, the potency, right? It's obviously below mountain level because the capacity couldn't destroy a mountain. No, they're dampening the capacity. So, mind me, continue what you were saying, Brigo.
I can even give an example of that. Like when Vegeta like did the self-destruct thing with Fat Boo, like it didn't even like destroy the planet, like not even. But like if we're trying to use that argument, then like Boo Saga characters would even be planetary by that.
Yeah. So they're basically like
You don't think that Saga characters are planetary?
No. He was applying that logic to show that what Ancient was saying is stupid. I think that characters in Boo Saga are like already fourth dimensional. Okay, so I think that it isn't a pointless debate, but I think it's unfair. That's what I'll say.
What do you mean by unfair?
As in Goku would one shot.
I mean, power and defense are two different things, wouldn't you say?
No.
They'll be relative.
In the Dragon Ball verse, you're saying like I understand that having their energy around them is what, like, I guess is the difference between being on guard and off guard.
I'm generalizing. I think unless differed, I think no power would equal defense. That's just physics.
I don't think that's true. There's characters that are way stronger offensively than defensively within the One Punch Man world.
Hold on. Okay, yeah, because that form of physics is applied differently. For example, in My Hero Academia, that physics is not applied because Deku, right? He has to channel energy, and if he hits something, no matter what, if he still hits something with that all for one, whatever he's using, right? That will literally just break his hand, break his fingers, whatever, right? That's different physics. If we apply physics that is not changed and is not shown to be different, this is what happens. So Newton's like third law, I think it is, that what energy or force you can produce, you also have to exert it, right? So when I punch a wall, and the wall is not affected, that's why punching a wall hurts, right? But then when you see these like athletes or like people like Bruce Lee destroying like these wooden tiles and their hands do not seem to be damaged, but them destroying the wooden tiles, that's just because of Newton's third law. They would have superior potency, and because of that, they'd also have superior defense. So unless that's differed, right, from other like shows, comics, or verses, that's staying true.
I agree, but I don't think like using the example of like them breaking a tile is a thing because martial artists harden their hands and are so used to taking punches because they practice punching poles and punching hard things so that their fists take less damage than their actual body. So their fists are actually different than their body. But I understand what you're saying about Newton's law and force applied is equal to what you could take, right?
Either way,
I'm just saying defense isn't entirely 100% correlated with like offense.
Okay. In this scenario, it would be unless you could differ physics in One Punch Man.
I don't remember what the character's name is, but there's one character that prides himself on his ability to take damage. What's his name?
In what verse?
In One Punch Man.
Sonic? Isn't that?
No,
that was the speed guy.
The big bodybuilder dude.
The one at the gym? Or little training room?
He's not. He's way further in. He's one of the S-Class heroes, but you really only get to see him more later in the manga. But I'm just saying, I feel like the power that he's able to exert isn't the same as what he could take. But I guess that's not entirely.
Well, what would suggest that?
Well, he hardened his muscles to the point that it could like. I'm pretty sure he's known as like the steel or iron something.
Okay.
Wait.
because he hits hard steel and tanks hard to steel. If you have an arm made of steel or like metal, that shit is going to hurt. If you bang your head on a steel wall, that will hurt.
Sorry, repeat what you said, bro.
Okay, steel is obviously hard.
Yes.
So, with him being called steel, whatever you're going to say, steel would hurt. If you like bang your head on steel, that will hurt. Or if you have an arm made of steel punching you, that will hurt.
So he's not made of steel. I'm not following what you're saying, right?
Okay, so are you speaking metaphorically?
No, he has like human flesh, but his metaphorically hardened his muscles to have such a high defensive ability.
Okay, and so is he taking a defensive? Is he taking a defensive stance? Could you like? That's really vague. Like.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't like I'm not. I'm just like I'm honestly just having a conversation right now, so I'm coming up with like stuff on the top of my head because I wasn't expecting your arguments to be put in this way. I'm used to people just saying like comparing. Oh, I guess I really don't debate. This is essentially my first debate. But like I'm used to hearing in comment sections people comparing Goku by his level of feats and comparing Saitama's level of feats. But then you're using a specific instance that Saitama takes damage and that the damage was planetary or star level, whatever it is, and because he was able to take that damage, then by extension, someone of Goku's caliber would one-shot him, right?
And also, well, the reason why I brought that up is because you were trying to argue that it's pointless because we can't quantify his power, right? And then I was like, okay, well, we can understand that he was not off guard here. He was completely on guard here, right?
That's not entirely true. I think we can't I can't prove that he was off guard, but I can prove that he was on guard just by the nature of.
Well, you would assume that he was not off guard because it's the negative. If you can't prove the positive, you always assume the negative because you can't prove the negative.
But I feel like there's way more information. There's way more knowledge on the series leaning towards him being off guard than on guard. But whatever.
Okay, and then I contradicted that because it was a different scenario.
I mean, he enters every single battle the same.
Yeah, but this was a different scenario and circumstance.
Wait, but like, even if you want to say say Saitama stronger than Goku, you don't have no speed feats showing that he's like anywhere near Goku speed.
Well, that isn't the claim. That isn't the claim he's making. The claim he's making.
Jade's good at debating because he's actually like. So everyone that I've ever talked to says stuff that like Mr. D just said, where he'll say that Saitama doesn't have any universe level feats or any insane speed level feats. And while that's true, I'm not saying that Saitama is stronger than Goku, but what I'm saying is it's hard to it's something that shouldn't be debated because we don't have any idea of what Saitama can actually do. Rather, he just fucking defeats everyone with one punch or like very much effortlessly. But Jade's smart counter argument is that he took damage in this specific scenario, even if insignificant.
You didn't let me. You let me finish.
Okay, right. But Devilman, I'll let you finish. But don't I understand he didn't bring up speed. He's not even saying that Goku is going to Goku's going to lose or that Saitama is equal, relative in any way. He's not even applying Goku at this point. We're just discussing, or he's telling me why he thinks it's a pointless debate and why they shouldn't be matched up. And he's saying that okay, well you can't really quantify his power. And what I'm doing, my job is to quantify his power and show that we can quantify it and show that he is below Goku. That is my premise.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. D. I agree with what Jade's saying, but go ahead, Mr. D. I want to hear what he has to say.
Like his speed and strengths they're mostly irrelevant to each other. Like we saw when he was on the moon, he put effort into getting back to Earth. But I understand what you say, how mine is like what I'm stating right now, is sort of derailing the argument. So I apologize for that.
Yeah, no worries. Honestly, I don't take debating that seriously. But what's it called? Fuck. I have way too much coffee in my system right now. I'm probably gonna be up for another couple hours studying, but whatever. This has been a good break. But yeah, fuck, I already forgot what I was gonna say. Whatever.
You're going to go on to like why it was a mismatch or something?
Out of curiosity, I wanted to hear how you would reply to this. Would you not say that Saitama's like main premise is offense? Like his main idea is punching.
I think his whole narrative. Like, are you asking me his narrative and like whole point?
Yeah, the whole like everything he's ever done.
I think his whole narrative is just to advance as a hero. Because isn't he like a C class? Isn't that what they said? C class.
Yeah, but he doesn't really care about his rank.
Okay. Well, basically, like combat wise, his whole narrative, right, is just to get stronger and stronger and always win. Or he wants to find an opponent worthy, actually. And and it always happens. He always just punches them, right? And he always just one-shots them. And the reason why punching is involved, actually, if anything, punching is not involved as much as defense is, because usually he's just, like you said, just taking it, getting clobbered, right? And then when he does apply a punch, it completely destroys them, and they're on the same extent, because it's like he's not taking any damage at all, and then he throws one punch, and then he just instantly shits on them. So I don't think that his whole point is to just one-shot everything. I think his whole point is just to find an opponent worthy of him.
Yeah,
and relative.
I agree. I think everything all the punches that he takes in his earlier battles, like maybe he's so bored by how weak they are that he doesn't even bother playing defense, and then he's like, okay, you did what you had to do. I'm just gonna fuck you up now with a one punch. But then I would still apply to your argument that the reason he's not able to take damage is because their attacks are so weak, and the reason he's able to one punch them is because, like the same thing with Newton's law, those people aren't exerting enough force that could do damage to him, but then his punch is enough, like kind of the opposite, like the adverse effect.
Yeah. Also, Devilman. When is it ever stated he's bound by time? I mean, I'm not gonna oppose to that, but like, is it shown that he has like different timelines or versions of himself?
Who?
Saitama, because he's saying that Saitama can be quantified. He's bound by time.
Yeah, because he lost his hair. Right.
Okay. That was burnout from breaking his limit.
Oh shit!
Like it's just like adverse effect to how like when every other character in the One Punch Man, like I guess franchise or in series, whenever someone does some type of transformation and grows as a person, they usually have some type of exterior effect. For example, what's his name? The prisoner guy. When he like his defensive abilities increased at one point, and he literally just grew like hair over his body. So he didn't surpass his limits, but he was transforming, which was like kind of like a first step. So I feel like when Saitama surpassed his limits or broke his limiter, the effect that it had on his body was him losing his hair.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's not bound by time. It just means that he's bound by causality, and he's not acausal. So he's still bound by cause and effect. Mm-hmm. Also, you could have also brought this up in his example, like even Yu-Gi-Oh! They're monsters, right? And these monsters will have an attack points. These monsters will have defense points. And they will not be equal to each other. So there will be monsters that could defend really well and have a shitty attack point, but it would still differ. And that's an example of physics working different.
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying there.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd have to look a lot more into the Dragon Ball franchise, just because I just had my argument. Like I only really focused on Saitama and him not his feats being unknown. But in order for me to actually be able to debate people on this on this topic, I guess I would have to know more about Dragon Ball itself and if Goku took any damage from a planetary attack. Because like that one example that like just comes to mind is him when his guard was down. However, I feel like when he's not like in every fight that he like partakes in, he often like kind of matches his opponent's strength in the beginning, and then they slowly work their way up to like their like full potential, and then one person ends up surpassing their limit and all that bullshit.
So they basically, yeah, that's pretty much what he would do in a fight. So if we just put this into like a normal SBA circumstance, right? this is intention to kill, but in character, right? So, firstly, he would go for Saitama. He'd be clashing with him, right? He's in base form. He would be what's to suggest that he would be suppressing himself down to because Saitama, because that's because it's the same case as Trunks, right? Remember when Trunks first arrives and they're like, it's the Frieza forces and they're like checking his power level and he has like a power level of 5, right? It'd probably be that same case, and Goku would probably, if anything, lower himself down to a power level of 5, because there would be no power level, and he would not be able to sense it at the same way the Frieza forces would sense Trunks, right?
Yeah.
So, he probably suppress himself to like a human, and we know in character Saitama would do literally nothing, and then when Goku finds this out that he's not just a normal human, he'll probably just one-shot him. Generic name, what we should be questioning.
I don't really like when people say one shot personally, but I like, even if you were like, I still can't disprove what you said right now, so I'm not gonna go over on that point, because I don't think Goku's the type of character who would ever I guess he one shotted some of those guys in the Ginyu Force when he just came back.
Yeah, but that was intention to save his friends. And since this is intention to kill, he would one-shot Saitama. That's just what SBA state. I don't primarily debate Dragon Ball. I debate IRL topics, and I debate Mortal Kombat.
Cool.
So I don't necessarily debate Dragon Ball that much. I just saw somebody, a shitload of people requesting me to debunk your video.
And do you do YouTube stuff, or do you have a Discord?
No, I'm just a Discord debater. I'm known a lot of servers.
Yeah. He's a Discord debater. Interesting.
I'm just known in a lot of fucking Discord servers, because I go into most debating servers and I see how they do. There are people that have made fake Instagram accounts of me, which is surprising to me. I didn't know people would make fake Instagram accounts. Yeah, but if you have anything else to present, just tell me.
Will do.
Okay, so okay. Why should we be questioning how quickly Saitama can progress?
Well, I guess the only reason you would be questioning how quickly he could progress, because he does have a limitless potential. But the thing is, his world is so filled with fodder. If he was fighting people constantly that does have limitless potential, he would grow so quickly, right? I don't think he will grow quickly because of his current universe.
I think that he will never be infinite 3-dimensional at the progress he's growing at as of now. Because we know that he's still bound by age, right? So eventually he'll just grow old and die. There's nothing to contradict that, right? We just assume that.
How do we know that he's bound by age?
Okay, well, so what's to differentiate? Because Saitama is just a human. What's to differentiate that? He'd still hold the same biology. Breaking your limiter there's nothing to suggest that breaking your limiter would just automatically not bind you by age anymore.
I feel I don't know if that's entirely true. So a lot of characters within One Punch Man, as they are going through their I feel they actually the whole monster transformations, right? When they get close to removing their limiter, they go insane. Whatever, I don't have the quote in front of me. But essentially, they go from human to monster through this process of not breaking their limiter, but in the world of One Punch Man, people transform, and there's different ways people transform. So one of which they become a monster and go insane. Another one is there's slight transformations to their bodies, like we see with S-class heroes. So I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say that a normal human has the same body as an S-class hero or Saitama.
Yeah. So basically, in the server, as I was saying, I understand the point you were trying to make, but it just wouldn't mean anything. It'd still be bound. He'd still be bound by time. It would not contradict that. You'd have to present something, but to go through this,
I don't know if he would actually how I guess it's specific to the Saiyan race, them aging slowly. I just think like within anime, there's times where people age at different rates.
Well,
And
even
their
if he does,
bodies. Okay,
do
go
you
ahead.
believe there will be an age to the point where he will grow old and die? Do you think there will be an age for that? Just based off what you know. Because we can assume that he is bound by age, because there's nothing to contradict that, and that's the most logical thing we can assume. Yeah, but as I was going on about your whole YouTube shit, so I'm on another YouTuber's like Discord server. It's like a debating Discord server. I'm like really like I'm like the third best debater there. It's like basically I'm just going through the page and there's a ton of people linking your video. Who's the most hacks, broken, overpowered anime character, whatever? And there's this debate's stupid and somebody responding and debunking your video, and there's all of this shit, and I'm like,
I don't think the people that actually made videos debunking my video actually did anything. You did a way better job proving your points.
it was a guy named Sakura the nurse who apparently debunked your video.
I see.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who don't like you.
Yeah, no, that's entirely like on purpose.
Who did you like? I've never even watched your video. I've just been suggested to debate you because people like gave me a brick of text of what you said in your video.
Well, my point on so basically in my first video, I was just talking about overpowered relative to their verse, and a lot of people were saying that like I was basically just saying like Goku isn't as overpowered compared to who he's fighting against versus like Saitama relative to his universe, which I feel like isn't even like super debatable. And then that's the entire premise of the video. But what I did was I'm like, but yeah, if they actually had the fight, I put my vote on Saitama. And then if it was when it was JoJo versus Naruto, I did the same thing and gave Naruto the win. But then I'm like, if they actually had the fight, I would say JoJo would win. And I just fucking triggered everyone, and everyone was sharing the video around. And it kind of, I wouldn't say went viral, but it blew up because of it.
It was kind of like the whole Ben 10 shit. You remember that Crow, the artist guy? Kind of like that.
Yeah, exactly. But I kind of did that purposely, knowing that people would react that way. Which is like clearly like, because I said things that essentially weren't even my opinion. But then I had planned, if it did blow up, to release the video that I think it's pointless, which actually contradicts my initial opinion by saying that I would say that Saitama's stronger. Right? But this is my actual opinion, was that it's unknown. I still have to figure out a way to it's kind of weird to me because this is my first time debating someone who like uses like fucking like I'm not used to dimensionaling or these multiple dimensions in debating.
I mean, I don't necessarily like. I don't. It's like fictional debates are like out of my niche. Like I'm usually debating like IRL topics, but what interests me, Devilman, Mr. D, you said, wait, I feel we are ignoring the elephant in the room. Just because we haven't seen his limit doesn't mean he can't be scaled. We just scale him to casually on his best feats. If we use this logic, then all the angels, Grand Priest, Super Shenron would all be unscalable. I don't get why that would be the elephant in the room. Just addressing, like, okay, he has no limiter. If anything, I mean, you can argue he has a limiter. The limiter is his dimension, right? The limiter is like the third dimension for him, right? That is like to break that limiter, right? He would need to go beyond infinite 3-dimensional. So that would, in a sense, he would also have a limiter either way.
I just want to say though, so I wasn't really saying that he's unscalable because he doesn't have a limit, but rather because he fights fodder.
The point he was making is that we can't necessarily quantify.
Exactly.
And what
like if his power is anywhere between 0 and infinity, where does he lie on that scale? Right. With other characters, you could use feats when they're pushed to their limit. Like when they're fighting. I feel like Naruto versus Goku is a debate that could be easily scaled because you could go off their feats in their like most recent battles versus Saitama, who's kind of like none of his feats, in my opinion, were quantifiable. But then you're saying like you said, you're
well, they're most of his feats are quantifiable. Like
well, they're quantifiable, but it doesn't allude to that was his like limit or max strength or even close to it, right?
Yeah, well, then my premise, Devilman, is just that it can be quantified, and his point is that, okay, from 0 to infinite, right? And I'm saying that, Okay, well, it's just unquantifiably less than infinite. That's what we know, and that is him on guard. That would be what we know. On guard, he's unquantifiably below infinite, so we would be able to understand that yes, Goku would one shot. He would instantly destroy, and if he just actually exert his actual power, right? And then
why do you say Goku is above? Just out of curiosity.
Why is Goku what?
I thought like so you're saying Goku is above third dimensional infinite or something?
Because for example, Buhan and the Buu Saga, it's shown that when he was like doing the whole Vice Shout shit, right? He was like tearing these small holes into the dimensional, like the fabric of the universe, right? And because of that, he was collapsing and rushing dimensions on top of dimensions, which would be universal plus or fourth dimensional. There's also the example of in the Battle of Gods saga, where Beerus and Goku are clashing fists and throwing punches back at each other, and because of that, force is being exerted that is going to destroy the universe and the space-time continuum, because we know that each dimensional realm has its own space-time continuum because it's a macrocosm. So, because of that, that would be fourth dimension.
Interesting. Okay. This is like because oh rip. I know a lot of the people who watch my video also people like Seth, a programmer, and what's his name? Whatever that fucking. I'm so bad at names.
Chuck the Cybercook.
Yeah, exactly. You watch those guys.
He's a pretty trash debater. Not Seth.
Cuck.
Yeah, Cuck is fucking. Chuck is really bad. I challenged him on Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, no. Chuck was replying to my tweets and stuff. And I feel like at one point he brought up a narrative argument.
Respond to Chuck and just and respond to him on Twitter and be like, okay, debate Jade. And that'd be funny because he knows who I am. And he hates me. I've talked with Seth before, and I like constantly get called Baby Seth. So.
I haven't really watched any of their videos either. Of them. So that's why I'm saying like a lot.
Has like several personas. He's not like a dick. Like he's like helping.
Yeah, no,
me
I've heard from
Netflix
that he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's like helping me into like philosophy, and he's like giving me like these links to like introductions into philosophy and like commodity and truth and like the law of thought and like the law of identity and like the Timaeus and the Republic by Plato.
Hi.
Hey, Beck, what up?
I didn't know when to say hi. You seemed like you were in the middle of something.
Yeah, so I posted 2 videos and the internet kind of just fucking hates me.
I mean, fair. So you're just like waiting for your internet to fix itself?
I mean, I'm kind of okay with it hating me. I don't mind.
Damn.
I mean, it's paying the bills right now, so.
Shit.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's kind of fun. I'm getting a whole new like community of like these power scalers, and because I have like really, I guess, no background on watching them, it's like they're speaking a whole new language to me. It's crazy.
Dude, yeah, there have been so many people joining this server. Like, I can't even welcome them all. This is so bad.
Most people are coming from me.
Yeah.
They wanted to see me debate you.
Yeah, I'd imagine a lot of people that came in the last couple of days just wanted to like come here and tell me I'm wrong as well.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did. I said, "When is all anime day? Whatever, right? When is he free to debate?" And then he was like,
"Nice."
Yeah, and no, and then the mod was like, "Get in line."
Oh yeah, no, the debates theories chat got so heated.
And it's so funny because no one in my actual Discord cares about debating, and these people come in, and I just like I was reading. I feel bad because I don't actually like in a couple days I'll have time. I'll be done exams, and I'd like actually give some of these people attention and like have some discussions because it's just a whole new world for me. So I'm kind of like I'm down to learn about it a little bit. But it's just so funny because I can't do anything. I don't really have much time. I'm just taking a little break now that's been way too long. But I'm just watching you guys troll these people, and it's fucking hilarious because they think they're being serious on their end debating, and then I see some of my mods and some of these guys, and they're just fucking saying stupid shit, and like like I feel like they're having their minds are blowing up. Like they're having a one-sided debate. It's fucking hilarious. Like,
I can link you some intros to help you get better.
Cool.
Do you want me to DM you that?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Well, I debated one person here. And then apparently I heard the two best debaters here was like two people named like Little Boat and Atheon. And I challenged them both, and everybody's saying I'm gonna lose. I'm like, I'm most likely gonna like beat you quite easily. And he said, "No, I'm a text debater only."
Well, I mean, yo, Heartless, what's up?
Oh my god, is that... Oh, he just muted himself.
Okay, let me get more intros for you.
I
was
wouldn't
muting
really
myself because I was touching sound settings.
Oh, for a minute I thought you were going to say you were muting yourself because you were touching yourself.
Yeah, that's what I thought for a second.
Meme review.
Yeah, so Jade, as you could tell, my channel is probably more into memes than debating at the like prior to this all blowing up. So
You're
like
quite
I probably wouldn't take like your debates with Atheon and generic name overly seriously. It's probably just like they're probably just trolling you.
Yeah, almost entirely sure they were trolling.
I think he said they were trolling you in another chat.
Well, there
Which
you go.
one?
Probably admin or something. They always
Yeah.
It was a really interesting argument. I didn't expect that because I've read I'm such a I'm a procrastinator when it comes to studying. So I've been reading like hundreds of like comments and shit, and no one presented a decent argument until like right now. This is the first argument that actually like kind of makes sense.
Do you want a link to like the convergence or a convergence justification of infinitism?
Yes,
that'd probably help you. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll help you with epistemology too. Let me link that. I have all of these saved in like a server.
So how was your 420?
Studying.
Spent it just like any other day.
But honestly, I'm probably gonna study for another couple hours. Go to the gym, go to the gym, and then blaze. But
Well, I mean, so
it wouldn't be 420 anymore, technically.
yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, fuck.
But in my heart, it is.
You wasted your chance.
Well, so I was sober for most of 420. At least half.
I mean, half is pretty good for you.
It's pretty good for me. I don't know. You just get to this point where you're like, I'm not high enough. I'll have more of this weed cookie. And then you're like an hour later, you're like, I'm not high enough. I'll have more. And then an hour later, you're like, I'm way too high. There's no in between.
I think that's just the nature with edibles, though, compared to smoking.
I think also like